I can't imagine how anyone can say, I'm weak, and then remain so. After all, if you know it, why not fight against it? Why not try to train your character? I think it's odd that grown ups quarrel so easily and so often and about such petty matters. Up to now, I always thought bickering was just something children did and that they outgrew it. Human greatness does not lie in wealth or power, but in character and goodness. Parents can only give good advice or put them on the right paths, but the final forming of a person's character lies in their own hands. Well, who can say? These are the words of a 13 or 14-year-old girl, but it's a fact. These are some of the quotations I have just read you out from the diary of Anne Frank. Anne Frank, who has clearly proven it to the world that maturity has nothing to do with age. But was she always so much mature? No. Circumstances. Yes, circumstances transform you and bring out your inner self. Imagine your life as a 13-year-old. Your world consists mainly of your school, family, and friends. You have very few responsibilities. You are relatively carefree. Now imagine yourself as a 13-year-old Jewish girl in Nazi occupied Holland. You are forced to give up your life as you know it. Suddenly, you have no freedom at all. You can't go to school and you can't ride a bicycle. You can't enter certain restaurants and you have to wear a star on your clothes labeling you as a Jew. You hear whispers of camps where Jews are killed. At the age of 13, death becomes a reality. You live in fear of capture and being separated from your family. You see people being killed in front of you. But you have to live each day and go on with life. When death stares you in the face, you become mature. You know what is actually important in life in that time? Things that bothered you before becomes trivial and you grow up. This is what happened to Annie. She was a perceptive individual and the circumstances in which she found herself brought out her true inner self. When she started writing her diary, she was cheerful, she was full of life, she was carefree. But as the time passed, during her hiding period, she became mature. She started writing not only about her family, but also about the world around her. And that is why her diary is so rich to read. Because she gained the wisdom which even adults seldom possess. She grew up in those 2 years of hiding. And her diary has been described as a work of a mature and insightful mind. It provides an intimate examination of daily life under Nazi occupation and has been considered as one of the most authentic record of Holocaust period. So some of the excerpts from Anne Frank's diary are there in your book First Flight also. And as instructed, you must have gone through them. Now let's see whether you have been able to read between the lines, whether you are able to make out what Annie wanted to convey to her diary and then to the world, whether you were able to make out what type of a person Annie was. So let's start. So before we start, I would like all of you to keep your textbooks by your side and keep on underlining the important expressions, phrases and lines in your books, which would definitely help you prepare for your board exams later. So here we can see that Anne Frank calls her writing of diary as a strange experience. There are two reasons for the same. One is that she had never written anything like this before. And the second reason is that she believed that no one would be interested to read what a young girl had written in this diary, considering her to be an immature girl. Though we know that she had been proven wrong over here, because her diary had been translated into 60 different languages, had been published worldwide. So many people have read it, so many movies have been created on it. Even then, she feels the need to write because there were a lot of thoughts she had been holding on to lately and she needed to get them off her mind. It's known that writing one's thoughts act as a therapy, and this was a therapy Anne Frank actually required at this time. So in the next paragraph we can say that Anne Frank says paper has more patience than people. It again reflects how much mature she was at the age of 13. According to Anne Frank, she believes that people have low patience levels, but a piece of paper, being a non-living thing, would not refuse from absorbing her thoughts. It has much more capacity to absorb thoughts than people. And moreover, she says it very clearly in the last line that she was prompted to keep her diary in the first place because she didn't have a friend. Yes, she didn't have a friend. And now was the time that she had to confide in somebody. There was a dire need to do so. So she had decided to treat this diary as her confidant. You can see the image of her diary over here. It was written in Dutch. It's not that she didn't have a friend, but yes, she didn't have a true friend. She had loving parents, a 16-year-old sister, and there were 30 people she could call friends. But she says the problem lied with her. She could not share her feelings with anybody else, and she calls it her own fault that she couldn't confide in her friends. This again reflects her maturity. And moreover, considering the situation that it won't change, that means Anne Frank would not change her behavior, she started writing the diary. That is the reason she started writing the diary. To enhance the image of this long-awaited friend in my imagination, I don't want to jot down the facts in this diary the way most people would do. She says it very clearly that she was not going to treat this diary as an ordinary diary like other people who would just make certain entries in the diary. Usually when someone is writing a diary, they list down all the facts about them in a formal manner, which Anne Frank didn't want to do. This is because she wanted to give her need for a friend a shape, and thus she decided to name the diary Kitty, because every friend has a name. Hoping that someone would read her diary one day, which is very ironic over here, she thinks that writing without giving details about the background story would be ineffective. So despite not wanting to do so, she gives brief details about her life over here. She didn't start making entries directly, but provided a brief background about her life, her family, which again highlights that she was a very good writer. Then she introduced her family, consisting of her father, Otto Frank, and she considered her father to be the most adorable father she had ever seen. Then her mother, then her sister, and then her grandmother. In the last lines, we can say that she has actually, these words reflect Anne Frank's jealousy for her elder sister when she says that her sister was brought to Holland in December and she followed in Feb, and she considered herself to be a gift to her sister. So this reflects her jealousy for her, that sibling jealousy for her sister. Here in this paragraph, she has talked about where she took her early education and what type of relations did she have with her teachers. When she says she parted her ways from Mrs. Cooperus, who was the head mistress of her Montessori nursery school, both Anne Frank and the teacher were in tears, which reflect actually an emotional side of Anne Frank. Anne Frank was really very close to her grandmother. She fell ill and had to have an operation, so that birthday of her passed with little celebration. So this line again highlights her attachment to her grandmother. No one knows how often I think of her and still love her. It gives an evidence of how much in love she was with her grandmother. When she was ill, she didn't celebrate her birthday in a lavish manner. And even when she died, she used to light a candle in her name on her birthdays. Grandma's candle was lit along with the rest. The four of us are still doing well, and that brings me to the present date of 20th June 1942. So after giving a brief introduction to her diary, to her family, she started penning down the incidents now in the diary. So as we know, she named her diary Kitty. She wrote, "Dearest Kitty," just like we call our friends. Herein, Anne Frank has talked about her school life. She mentions an incident from her school life wherein the entire class was nervous about the results. And there again she has passed a very, very important statement I would like to highlight over here. She says that teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on earth. She was very much confident that girls would be able to pass all the subjects, and she does not have a very high opinion of boys, but at the same time she is very much apprehensive about her result in maths, because she considers that Mr. Keesing, her maths teacher, is quite unpredictable. Why did she say so? What had happened in her life that made her say so or write so? Let's find out. She says, "I get along pretty well with all my teachers. There are 9 of them, 7 men and 2 women, but Mr. Keesing," she called an old fogey who teaches maths, "was annoyed with me for ages." Why is it so? Because Anne Frank was too fond of talking. Mr. Keesing, as a teacher, would never ever like to have indiscipline in the class, didn't like this behavior of Anne Frank, but he had a very creative way of punishing Anne Frank. So he gave Anne Frank a punishment of writing an essay titled "A Chatterbox," and Anne Frank took it in right spirit. She jotted down the title in her notebook, tucked it in her bag, and tried to keep quiet. Probably she wanted her words to speak out for herself. And she took it in right spirit, and she took it as an opportunity to prove her point to Mr. Keesing. Let's see, what did she do with it? So let's see, what did she write in her first essay? A very important question. There is one line given over here which highlights Anne Frank as a great writer again. She took this punishment as an opportunity to prove her point to Mr. Keesing. She says anyone could ramble on and leave big spaces between the words, but the trick was to come up with convincing arguments to prove the necessity of talking. And what did she write in this essay? She wrote that even though she wanted to stop talking in the class, she couldn't help this out. Why? Because she had inherited this trait from her mother, Edith Frank. And as it is said, there's not much you can do about the inherited traits. Probably she was able to convince Mr. Keesing about her talking habit, or what was his reaction? Let's see in the next paragraph. How did he react to this statement, to this essay of Anne Frank? Mr. Keesing had a good laugh at her arguments, but when Anne Frank proceeded to talk her way through the next lesson, he was assigned another punishment, and again it was the second essay titled An Incorrigible Chatterbox, something that cannot be cured. Again she wrote the essay. The content of the essay is not given over here. And for 2 whole lessons, Mr. Keesing didn't give any punishment to Anne Frank. However, during the 3rd lesson, he had finally had enough. He couldn't take this anymore. He couldn't take so much of talking going on in the class while he was teaching. And again he gave a punishment, and this time again it was an essay, and the title of the essay was Quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox. Now let's see what was the reaction of the class over this. The entire class roared. Probably Anne Frank must have felt humiliated within, but she also joined the class in laughing. I had to laugh too. When she said had to laugh too clearly indicates that deep within she was feeling embarrassed or humiliated. Though I had nearly exhausted my ingenuity on the topic of chatterboxes, now she wanted to write something unique, so she took help of her friend Sani, who was very good at poetry, and she wrote a verse. And she was quite determined to play this joke on Mr. Keesing. Mr. Keesing was trying to play a joke on me with this ridiculous subject, but I would make sure the joke was on him. This again indicates her determination. She finished her poem, and it was beautiful. Again indicates very clearly that she was a good writer. It was about a mother duck and a father swan with 3 baby ducklings who were bitten to death by the father because they quacked too much. Let's see what was the reaction of Mr. Keesing over here. He took the joke in the right way. This joke was on Mr. Keesing. Anne Frank had written a satire that a father swan bit his 3 baby ducklings to death because of their noisy nature. To her good luck, the professor took it lightly. He recited the entire poem in front of the class while giving his own remarks simultaneously. His reaction is very important to be learnt over here, and this is how he behaved in quite an unpredictable manner. The author being fortunate, Anne Frank being fortunate enough, talked uninterruptedly about this incident without any further homework as punishment. Mr. Keesing allowed Anne Frank to talk in the class. He got to know that Anne Frank could not help out and he couldn't do anything about it. And on the contrary, Mr. Keesing always started making jokes in the class. So this is how he behaved in quite an unpredictable way, and that is the reason Anne Frank in the beginning, in the very first entry of an incident, she quoted that teachers are the most unpredictable creatures she had ever seen. So this is what we have read about Anne Frank. I hope it's all clear. Now solve the back exercises yourself and write on the value points. Thank you.